Now, do I feel like being autistic affects my gender or sexuality? Personally, I don't feel like my gender itself is influenced by my autism too much. My gender expression, though, is most likely what's most affected. Gender expression is how one publicly presents their gender. This includes appearance, body language, and voice. I don't dress very femininely. I wear slacks, loose cotton t shirts, and either zip up or large hoodies because that's what I can tolerate on my skin. I can't stand the feeling of jewelry outside of rings, and makeup not only bothers my skin, but can set off my eczema. There are some days where I feel like looking more feminine or masculine. On feminine days, I may put on nail polish or wear a more feminine shirt. And on more masculine days, I may wear my binder. But all of it is ultimately determined by what won't overwhelm me. I'm hyper aware when it comes to my sense of touch. So what I put on me all depends on what I can tolerate. Basically how many spoons I have that day. Aside from that, I'm pretty sure my being non-binary isn't affected by my autism. However, how I look at being non-binary might be. I think the best way to describe my gender is gender apathetic. I'd say agender, but I'm not 100% sure that really fits me. Since I do have feminine or masculine days. Shimmer, that's kind of gender fluid, but who am I to judge? I may be gender fluid. That's why I usually just say non binary, you know? Um, but yeah. It's, but yeah, it's less that I don't have a gender, and more that my gender is sort of aimlessly floating outside the confines of male and female. I feel this gender apathy may come from my autism, but I'm not sure. Gender isn't anything I've had an interest in, so I don't care too much about it. Much like with anything else that's never been a special interest. I just can't be bothered with it. I feel yeah, since it was asked in the chat, I might as well bring it up in case someone watching later doesn't know. A binder, as put, as explained, is a piece of clothing used to flatten the breasts. So yeah, thank you for asking, and thank you for answering. It's a good thing to explain. Um, I feel that if I wasn't autistic, I'd still be non-binary, but I may see it in a different way. Of course, since we can't peek into an alternate reality where I'm not autistic, we'll never know. When it comes to my sexuality, I'm most definitely demisexual. The moment I found out what it was, I knew that that's what I was. I remember being a teenager, and so many of my friends were dating and having sex, and I tried dating a couple of times, and neither relationship lasted more than 2 months. However, it was the sex part that really was beyond me. I can honestly say that my partner is the first person I've ever had a real sexual attraction to. I've had crushes, both on real people and fictional characters, but I never had any actual sexual attraction until my 20s. I'd also label myself as either pansexual or panromantic, since for those who don't know, the meaning of bisexual and pansexual have shifted, at least for some people. When the term bisexual was made, there were only two genders that were really observed by society. Um, uh, isn't there a thing like having trouble distinguishing romantic feelings, sexual feelings, or platonic feelings because of autism? I'm not sure, Wilt Fenos. That's something I would have to look into. It's possible. Um, but yeah, so bisexual men. Oh, sorry, I just knocked over my water bottle. Uh, sorry. Anyways, now that's out of the way. So back when only two genders were really observed by um, society, its meaning was an attraction to all genders. But now that we understand there are more than two genders, some people felt the term bisexual was transphobic. So its meaning shifted to be meaning being attracted to both those who are the same gender as you and those who are a different gender from you. With pansexual, it means that one's attraction to others has nothing to do with their gender. That gender plays no part in one's attraction to them. And that's me.
Now, I do want to jump in on the bi versus pan thing because this is very directly related to myself. I've had people get angry at me for calling myself bisexual and like, no, you're pan. You seem to like everyone. Gender doesn't matter. And this is where I have to come in with a very specific distinction. Where I think this fits, because both bi and pan can mean you're attracted to absolutely any gender. The big difference is with bisexual, there is a sexual attraction. You are sexually attracted to them, not just regardless of gender. Their gender itself plays a role in the attraction. And that is one of the reasons why I take the bisexual label rather than pan, because it is a direct attraction because of the gender. So any gender to me is like, oh, that guy, attractive. Oh, that non-binary, attractive. That woman, attractive. Doesn't matter what it is, but that's where I would like to come in with that, just because I find that that further defines it, as bi is more the physical nature of their gender is directly involved in the attraction, whereas pan is irregardless. It doesn't matter the gender.
Thank you for that. Shimmer, I've heard the term omnisexual, but I would have to look it up. I can't really remember right now. But yeah, so for me, with, yes, Sage, whereas pansexual would be just, like, that person. You know, it's, pansexual, it's not about, ooh, I'm attracted to that person because of their gender. So yeah. But yeah, with me with being, yeah, pansexual, I think I'd go with pansexual rather than panromantic. You know, for me, gender plays no part in my attraction to someone. I'm not attracted to genders. I'm not attracted to someone because they're a man or a woman or non-binary. I'm attracted to who they are. That's why it takes time for me to become attracted to someone. I need to get to know them first before I know if I find them attractive or not. Well, Finos, if you don't get the difference between pan and bi, that's okay. All I can say is, if someone says they're pan or bi, just accept it. You know, you don't have to understand all of this stuff. It's fine. But anyways, I do want to ask my partner. They want to add anything with perspective of being my partner, being, you know, with someone who is autistic and, part of the LGBTQ plus. So take it away.
Um, my perspective on being with someone who's autistic, part of LGBTQ plus, and that sort of thing, is it really gave me, I guess, in a sense, it gave me the opportunity to really let myself reflect on who I am as a person, because that's something that my entire life I've always been, boom, you are the box, you are big, you have the broad shoulders, you did the sports, you are big man strong, now be the thing. Sorry for the weird talkingness, but I just, I societally feel like everyone feels that men have to be cavemen and you have to be the man, which is about as far from who I am as possible, at least from my perspective. Yes, I am big. Yes, I'm into sports and I love that kind of thing, but the whole shutting off of the emotions thing just drives me mental. And being with someone who's autistic really was like, oh, I don't have to think that way? Really, in some senses, brought that out. Just because it was someone who's like, being with someone who looked at society and was like, I don't get it. Why is that there? Let me stop and do the same thing. uh, it sorry, I was laughing at people putting caveman and stuff like that out there. Uh, it's one of those things that I think has actually, for me at least, been incredibly healthy because it let me redefine, re-explore, and redetermine a lot of things that were previously forcibly assumed as part of my life. And considering the fact that I've always been supportive and uh, believing I was part of the LGBTQ community for ages, I didn't admit it in my hometown because holy crow, that was a death sentence there almost. But just having that chance to re-examine everything, I'm wandering all over the place right now. I fully recognize that, but it's been something that, because of who they are, it's allowed me to re-examine my thoughts on this across the gender spectrum, across sexuality, across how things are presented in society. And from my perspective, it's been very positive, very beneficial, just by the simple reasoning of, why does it have to be that way? And that's one thing that, from my perspective, a lot of people who I've met on the spectrum happen to have that way of thinking of just why? Why does it have to be that way? And if you're anyone who likes to think things through, or in my case, like, I need to think about these things because of teaching, like kids all come across with these questions to me, is it really gets you to stop and think, hey, wait, is this just a social construct that doesn't make any sense? Maybe? Oh, maybe I need to think about this again. And being forced to do that has been one of the most beneficial, helpful, and just generally positive experiences in my entire life. And it was surprising to realize that to a degree, but I gotta say that for me, it has been an eye-opening and just revelatory and just very positive thing to just get that influence of, why does it have to be that way? Why do we have to focus on monogendered roles? Why do we have to think of sexuality in these boxes? Why do you have to only fit into what people expect? And I know I definitely don't fit into most of those expected boxes, never have, they helped me figure that out.
Indeed. So yeah, to wrap up this portion, is my sexuality affected by my autism? Probably not. If I wasn't autistic, I'm not sure if I'd be as open about being demi or pansexual, but I'm pretty sure I'd still feel the same. I think the only change would be, you know, if whether I hit it or not. But again, we can't look into an alternate reality. So, we'll never know.